Steelers practice on Wednesday is in the books, and I've got 5 takeaways to share with you guys here in just a second. But before I do that, help out Steelers Talk here by liking today's video and clicking that thumbs up icon. It's a free and easy way to help us out. So I'd really appreciate if you start off today's show by clicking that thumbs up icon. Now we get into my takeaways from today's Steelers practice. And the first one was that the red zone offense took a step back today, okay? And during 7 shots, which means 7 opportunities to get a touchdown at the beginning of practice, they only had 1 touchdown today to Darnell Washington. Now, Kenny Pickett did connect with George Pickens, but the referee said that he had one of his feet out of bounds, so there's that. But, I mean, just yesterday, the Steelers' red zone offense was bloody fantastic. Multiple touchdowns and multiple segments of practice, and today just not as successful. And you take a look at that red zone percentage for the Steelers back in 2022, just 51.9% touchdown percentage, touchdown efficiency, which is good for 23rd in the National Football League. And, this step back today, I'm not going to overreact to it. Yesterday was a very good day for the offense, both the first, second, and third teams. But today it was the exact opposite. Just 1 touchdown today to Darnell Washington, and it was the second team in there during 7 shots today. It just wasn't overall the best start for the offense in that red zone period. So let me know how you're feeling about the Steelers offense heading into 2023. Do the Pittsburgh Steelers have a top 10 red zone offense heading into the 2023 season? Give me an HY for hell yes, or give me an HN for hell no. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. Take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. Then my second takeaway from Latrobe today is that Calvin Austin III is a freaking weapon, my man. I mean, Calvin Austin III, the things that he can do, just the fact that he can get open so quickly down the field, it is such an asset to Matt Canada and this Steelers offense. Last year, did not play whatsoever. Of course, he had that major foot injury. He's coming back this year. And let me tell you, these clips that are coming out of Latrobe right now, he hasn't lost a single step. Now, he's not going to be the best contested catch receiver out there in the National Football League. He's only 5'9", 162 pounds. Not going to be much in terms of blocking either. But in terms of somebody that can just win deep and make those big plays happen, Calvin Austin III had multiple long touchdowns during the team period today. He looked fantastic. He was probably the best overall receiver on the Steelers roster during practice today. At least that's what the reports are saying. So I got some more takeaways to share with you guys here in just a second. But first, if you need more black and gold in your closet here, getting ready for that Week 1 matchup versus the 49ers, that our friends at Fanatics have this awesome Steelers t-shirt combo for you to take advantage of. Go to chatsports.com/Steelers combo to get your hands on this awesome pair of that short sleeve with that long sleeve. It's a really good combo, guys. Take advantage of that right now while you still can. Then my third takeaway from practice today was that third-string running back Anthony McFarland continued to impress, this time as a wide receiver as well as a running back. Now, last year, Anthony had a little bit of production last year, but not much. And now he's coming into this year hoping to be that locked-in number 3 running back, and I think he's doing a great job at really solidifying himself in that role. Of course, you add John Lovett and Greg Bell to the roster just yesterday, but with the way that Najee Harris, Jalen Ward, and Anthony McFarland are all playing well in practice right now, I think those 3 are going to be the 3 guys that end up making the roster. Darius Hagans, it is worth noting, had a couple fumbles today, so it looks like he might be having a security issue with the football, and we just haven't seen enough of John Lovett or Greg Bell to really make an assessment of them just yet. So I really like that Anthony McFarland is doing a good job in practice, and I think that he's got that number 3 running back spot completely locked up at this point. Then we move on to my fourth takeaway here, which is that newly signed nose tackle Brayden Fehoku is eating up space in the middle of the Steelers defense, and he's actually looking pretty darn well. You bring him in to compete with Montravius Adams and Keanu Benton in the center of the defensive line. And Fehoku has looked really, really good against the run to this point in camp. He has been a major winner, apparently, in terms of stuffing the run, eating up space in the middle of the defense, and forcing the running backs to kick outside, and he's not getting moved whatsoever, which is exactly what you want to see from a nose tackle. That was the big problem with Montravius Adams and Tyson Alualu last year, is that they could get moved pretty darn easily with a double team. Fehoku seems to be more stand pat, seems to be stronger in the center of that defense, and he's harder to put off the spot, at least through the first couple days of camp, which is really, really encouraging to hear. And because of that, I think he's going to end up making the roster. Now, is he going to be an every down starter? I highly doubt it. But bringing a guy like this, who is extremely strong, who holds up space, who eats up space in the middle of the defensive line, is incredibly valuable, not only as a run defender, not only in those short area situations, but also on the goal line and on special teams. Having somebody that is a rock in the center there is absolutely essential for a modern NFL team, and Brayden Fehoku seems to be fitting that bill, and that's why I think he's going to end up making the final 53. Now, before I reveal my last takeaway today, if you're looking for more NFL content on Twitter, specifically for the Steelers, I post a bunch of stuff about Steelers practice, Steelers clips from practice on my Steelers-specific Twitter page. You can find that at Sperry_Yens. Give me a follow today if you want to keep up with everything going around in Latrobe. And now my final takeaway from practice today is that Cody White, backup wide receiver, is looking nice through the first days of camp. Cody is somebody that spent most of the 2022 season on the Steelers practice squad. He only suited up for one game last year. He had one catch for 2 yards, but throughout camp so far, he's been running mostly with the twos and the threes, but he's been looking pretty darn good. He's a bigger wide receiver at 6'3", 215 pounds, and he's kind of trying to compete with Miles Boykin and Hakeem Butler as kind of that backup X receiver just in case George Pickens ends up getting hurt. Cody's been somebody that's been impressive to this point, and it's looking like he's starting to make a solid case for himself to end up making the final 53-man roster. I think he's going to have to perform in those preseason games to really get himself over the top of both Boykin and Hakeem Butler and make the final roster. But man, the way that he's playing right now, I'm impressed. I'll just have to say that. Now, you be the GM for me down in the comments section. Should Cody White make the final Steelers roster here for 2023? Give me a simple yes or give me a no, and then let me know why down there in the comments section. Now, before I go, I want to give some injury updates from practice today, starting with DeMarvin Leal, the second-year defensive lineman, and he came off with, it seemed like an ankle injury, and he had to get it checked out today. He was putting his shoe back on, tying it up, trying to get back into the final kind of reps of practice, but he never eventually got back in. He didn't get into that last team period. He got injured during that team period there between the offensive line versus the defensive line, and then he came off for a little bit. But if anything, it's just going to be like a mild sprain. I think he's going to be okay. And speaking of mild injuries, Joey Porter Jr. also walked off gingerly towards the end of practice today. It's worth keeping an eye on him, especially because Cory Trice Jr. is now out for the season. And speaking of that, that is absolutely the news today, is that Cory Trice Jr. is now out for the season with a significant knee injury. At least that's the way that Mike Tomlin put it today, and that's very sad news. But if you want to see me break down the Cory Trice injury news and what it means for the Steelers defense, I'm going to put the link to this video here in the comments and description of today's video, where you can see my entire breakdown. All right, that's going to be it for today's show, guys. Really do appreciate all the support. Make sure you click that subscribe button right now for extensive Steelers news and rumors coverage every single day during the Steelers preseason, leading up to week 1 for that matchup against the 49ers. All right, that's going to be it for me today, guys. Appreciate the support. I'll see you guys later. And as always, here we go, Steelers.